Welcome back to Radio Entrepreneurs. I'm Jonathan Friedman, joined in the studio today by Kevin O'Connor. Kevin, a partner at Hinckley Allen law firm. Kevin, great to have you here.
Great to be here. Thanks.
I know before we went on air, we were comparing, I was comparing notes with some attorneys I know in town, so I know that you've got a long career in litigation and have crossed paths with some of the folks I know. So
25 years. Yeah.
Excellent, excellent. So you wanted to talk today a little bit about litigation and perhaps some litigation in the family enterprise and some tips and opportunities for our business clients and friends in the radio world to have. So why don't you launch right into what you wanted to talk about?
Absolutely. So what I wanted to talk about was how to avoid, prepare for, and if necessary, proceed with litigation in a family business or a closely held business. First piece of advice in terms of avoiding is you want to write a great constitution. The United States of America is the most successful country in the world over the last 250 years, maybe in the history of the world, because we have a great constitution. And as an entrepreneur, you have an opportunity to write your constitution in terms of your operating agreement, your articles of incorporation, your partnership agreement, your estate plan if it's a family business, and a stitch in time saves 9. If you focus on those succession issues, which is difficult to do when you're going 110 miles an hour building your business, but if you do that before there's a dispute, you will save yourself hundreds of thousands of dollars, if not millions of dollars. You will save it for yourself and for your family, and also potentially countless years off your life as well. It is the most important thing to do. And what I would say to every entrepreneur out there is that if you're doing what you're doing for your family, to build for your, build wealth or build opportunities for your family, and you don't have a good constitution, you don't have good estate planning documents, you don't have a good operating agreement or partnership agreement, you're a fool. And you're pouring money down the hole. Rule number 2 is try to avoid litigation.
Okay.
Litigation, as we discussed beforehand, before the show, is expensive. It's tremendously taxing from an emotional perspective. I love it, and I love the adrenaline rush of a court fight. I love the wins are. There's no greater experience than when you win because it's a direct contest.
But you, and no difference to you, don't have the emotional attachment to the situation. You're there in an advisory capacity and working, through a process.
Exactly. The fact that I love it doesn't mean that you as an entrepreneur will love it.
What other advice? What are the next things to be mindful of? Next rules of?
2 more.
Yep.
So if you're going to go to litigation, focus before the case starts on what your objectives are, and never lose sight of those objectives. If you can, write them down, put them in an envelope, tuck it away in a desk drawer, and never lose sight of those objectives, because the case, if it's like most litigations, will have ups, it will have downs. There'll be times you think you're going to devastate the other side. There'll be times where it seems like the sky is falling. But in the end, litigation is not an end in and of itself. It is an end to an objective, a resolution, and you need to always be mindful of what the end game is. And then my final piece of advice is that if you get in litigation, bring it, and bring it hard. Everything I've said about wanting to avoid litigation and focusing on objectives, those are critically important things. Don't lose sight of those. But once you are in a fight, the fact that you're interested in resolving it does not change the fact that you're in a fight. And if you're going to be in a case, you want to set the tempo, you want to set the tone, you want to be on offense, and you go after, and that will, of course, ultimately increase the prospect that you'll reach an agreement with the other side, because you will show them that you mean business.